Welcome back to our gene pan compost heating system we have here. You can see our temperatures have gotten up. We're sitting about 110, 112, and that was at about 135 before we started our systems running, which I'm gonna show inside. So I let this heat up before I started our systems because I didn't want to draw the heat as the heat was building. So I want to talk about why compost gets hot and how we're using the compost heat to heat our greenhouse. So first of all, the compost starts to heat up from all of your organic material starting to break down and the organisms actually breaking them down. Now, the actual metabolization of all of this organic matter is what creates the heat. 80 to 90% of the microorganisms in this hot compost is just bacteria. So they are feeding off all of this organic matter and breaking it down, creating all of that heat. Now, when we're composting, we're not composting to achieve heat unless you're trying to heat something. Most of the time, we're composting to get compost. So heat is just a byproduct. The size and consistency and density of the material you're using in your compost directly affects the heat levels and the length of time this will stay warm. So let's head on in the greenhouse. I'm gonna take this with me. So I wanted to directly show what we are doing in this little greenhouse to transfer the heat. So I've got this little tiny solar powered fan that has been running for quite some time now, over a year, and it runs every day religiously, and it is a cloudy day today. So I had stuck this solar panel outside the greenhouse because our shade cloth was inhibiting extra light coming through. So this little tiny solar panel outside the window there is running this fan on an absolutely cloudy day here. And same thing goes for our little solar powered pump. You can see our water flowing pretty well there. So that coils up through our entire pile, comes back down and feeds into the greenhouse. And what we start doing is popping sprouts. We grow our own hard wheat and soft wheat. You can see all these sprouts we grow for our chickens. Very easy to do. But we also got some of our stonehead cabbage popping up, and I have all of this right on the first amount of heat transfer because our compost water will run right through and start transferring here first as it loops around underneath the bed and back down here into our overflow tank, thus pushing it back up and recirculating it through the entire compost pile. And it's been cold enough that it has killed our entire garden. Everything is done. And while in the greenhouse, it doesn't really change. We're still sprouting along. Haven't had any sun today, and it is physically warm in here from our compost pile heating up this greenhouse, heating the airspace and heating the floor. So even without the passiveness of the sun heating this greenhouse, we are able to achieve growing temperatures all winter long. Like I said, I let it heat up for a day or two and then turn my systems on and have them running. So they should run for about a month, maybe a little bit less because that pile's not as big as we'd like it, but we can add to it and break it apart before it's finished burning and continue the burn on that pile. I wanted to show underneath our planting bench here, we've got tons of life coming up. We had just sowed this out when we started our compost pile. So all of these are fresh sprouts coming up off of the heat that's transferred from our compost into our greenhouse. So if anyone has any questions or comments on what we're doing here or any ideas to help us out as we go, please drop it in the comments below. We always appreciate input and we appreciate questions because we like to share the information we've learned by just simply experimenting and seeing what works. I want to thank everybody for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you.